Okay, so this is Governor's Palace on Yanis, planet that belongs to us already. And we got ambushed as we entered the city. That's good. Anyway, servant, upon seeing you, the guard lets out a frightened yelp and doubles over in a low bow. Your lordship, the most honorable Gimpy von V, the governor is awaiting you in her office where she's protected by walls and guards. Would you prefer to meet with her alone or with your entourage? Hey, Kalfak, welcome back. Happy Thursday. I want to speak to the governor alone. My entourage will accompany me in a meeting with the governor. My entourage will accompany me. Because I don't trust you losers for security, that's for sure. Vistenza Yanis Viet blah 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 is furiously swiping at a data slate, issuing commands into a gilded box. Upon seeing you, she hurriedly puts away her devices, smooths her skirt, and drops into a deep curtsy. Your lordship, accept my abject apologies for the reprehensible stunt that spoiled the reception. Even in my worst nightmares, I could never have imagined. I don't care about your apologies. I could have been killed. Your local fuss is of no concern to me. I'm in urgent need of provisions from Yanis. Reprehensible stunt. I thought firing at moving targets was part of the ceremony. You can stop apologizing, Vistenza. I'm not offended. I care about your apologies. I could have been killed. Governor, trembling all over, bows her head even lower. I assure you, lordship, I would never. I beg you, give me the chance to prove my loyalty and explain myself. Maid of honor. Vistenza's companion standing beside her also bends in a slavish bow. While reaching out to offer a reassuring touch to Vistenza's hand, who immediately draws it away. One of your wardens helped us in battle, a superb shot. Who was it? You must be referring to Yurliet, our chief ally in the struggle against the rebels. I have turned a blind eye to her horrific mutations given the undoubted advantages she brings. You see, she comes from a local degenerate stock of this world and knows Yanis like the back of her hand, so she has provided several leads as to where we can find bases and secret storehouses. Although I admit that at times I am tempted to send her away from the estate. Her unnaturalness means that speaking with her always leaves me feeling uneasy. Such a gaunt, unfeminine figure, and so tall. Heinrich's expression shifts. Did I hear you correctly, Governor Viet? You have a mysterious mutant on your estate at this very moment. One of prodigious height, slight build, and with a supernatural talent for shooting. Did the arrival of this helper never give you pause for thought? Allow me to make myself clear. To refuse her help in our circumstances would have been incredibly rash. Yes, mutants are creatures abhorrent to the Emperor, and they should be exterminated, but sometimes humanity makes exceptions for those who can serve the Imperium. I am not concerned that your aide is a mutant. I am far more concerned that she may be nothing of the sort. He turns to you. Gimpy, I would like to meet this helper of the Governor Viet's without delay, out of professional interest. If you wish to speak to her, you will find her outside in the orangery, most likely by the gazebo. She prefers to keep her distance from others. What's happening on the planet? Several months ago, uprisings broke out on Yanis. I was not even notified at first. Griping worms are for wardens to worry about. Alas, I only learned of what was happening after the miscreants began targeting noble families. Vistenza shakes her head. And then it became apparent that what the Administratum's accounts had referred to as unrest were in fact organized attacks on infrastructure and society leaders. They have already brought 13 agri-complexes to a halt and have now moved on to assassination attempts. My wardens are doggedly tracking down the rebels, but their leaders are slipping from our grasp yet again. Can Yanis fulfill its foodstuff supplies under current conditions? I risk angering you, your lordship, but this is nothing compared to shamelessly deceiving you. Let us consider the situation dispassionately. Even the most talented logistics experts of the Administratum are unable to guarantee stable tides when shuttles are wary of landing at the spaceport. and the terrified peasants are indulging a dangerous minority within their ranks. Until the usual order of things is restored on Yanis, any trade is nigh impossible. Considering what has occurred, your visit is a true blessing. You see, Yanis does not have its own fleet. We could organize a planet-wide search if we had ships at our disposal, ships like yours, Your Lordship. Perhaps you will find a way to support your subjects in their hour of need? ? I'm sure even approximate coordinates would be sufficient to have the ground forces and ship crews work together to hunt down the enemy. Not interested in excuses. Dealing with the rebels is your direct responsibility. You want me to go off and catch some rebels for you? I promise you, Governor, I will hunt down the seeds of rebellion and heresy on your planet and burn them to ash. At the bottom of this, I'm sure the rebels will have something to say about the master of their world. If there is no competent people to be found on Yanis, I shall have to handle this myself. I'll track down these elusive fugitives myself. As for you, you will not be permitted to fail again. I'm removing you from your post as governor of this planet, and I am placing you under arrest. When I have finished with the rebels, I'll decide what to do with you. I'll get to the bottom of this. I'm sure the rebels will have nothing to say to the master of their world. I'll hunt down the seeds of rebellion. Concern appears on Vistenza's eyes. The resolve and valor of this Von V dynasty know no bounds. I am immeasurably thankful for your help. If any of those who attacked the estate had survived, then perhaps they could have been a valuable source of information. But you made an example of them for the rest of the foolish rabble. She glances at the box. Incidentally, I did overhear the wardens talking about some kind of stranger in the area. Besides that, we still do not know who let those probates into the estate. The person who did it might also know something. I, as well as my retinue, are at your service. My secretary is checking the staff as we speak and removing all traces of the attack from the estate. And esteemed Magos, who is responsible for ergonomic efforts on the planet, is also here. He happened to be visiting this week to deliver his personal report. And of course, there is my aide in the war against the rebels. Yerliet there yet? I have no doubt she will be delighted to share her knowledge of Yanis with your lordship. He is on the verge of starvation. Can Yanis supply the people with provisions? Yes and no, your lordship. If the question is, can such an expansive and fertile world as this one feed a few thousand void rats? Of course it can. We lose more provisions and gnawing pests every cycle than those on Footfall could eat in their entire lives. But we can ship can we ship said provisions to Footfall? Not a chance. Any cargo shuttle that leaves the surface will be a target for attack. The rebels will not hesitate to bring it down, sending flaming debris over the capital. Our silos could become targets for sabotage. Food could be poisoned or mined. The logistics of transporting supplies to Footfall will only be possible once the uprising has been completely crushed. Who is this person standing next to you? One of my ladies-in-waiting, Amelia. Amelia performs secretarial duties and helps me to remain in constant contact with those families who are most responsible for the productivity and prosperity of Yanis. I trust my advisors implicitly, and over time Amelia has become not merely a faithful companion, but almost my shadow. Losing her would be like losing my right hand. She laughs and gives Amelia an encouraging nod. Amelia drops into a low curtsy. To bathe in the light of your greatness is a true honor, rogue trader. Tell me about Yanis. Blah blah, remarkable world. Generations, don't care. Farming, food. What do you grow in Yanis? Mainly Helican flint corn and red turnip. Apart from that, in the southern hemisphere, we have set aside vast tracts of land for the Grox population. Grox are what, cattle? Oh, reptile. Grox are mostly commonly bred as livestock or used as beasts of burden, so kind of like cows, but they're lizards. And of course, I cannot fail to mention the several thousand acres of tilled land given over to cultivating fermentable fruit for personal use and limited export. Even for an agri-world in the back of beyond, this place is a real dump. What do you do here for fun when you have free time, that is? If you're asking about those of our circle, let me assure you there are enough noble families on world to keep boredom at bay. I frequently host guests, your lordship, and my servants arrange suitable... Your lordship, and my servants arrange suitable entertainments, from parlor concerts to private executions of traitors who break imperial law. I gotta go. How was that for classless? Come on, place a dump. So anything fun to find here? Probably not.
The more you try to hide your colors from me, Master Van Calox, the more clearly I can see them. If you find my gaze so unpleasant, just say so.
Do not mistake my caution for rudeness, Lady Cassia. I am usually the person who gauges others' secret thoughts and feelings. Being on the receiving end is different.
So nothing. Okay.
Time to leave my mark upon the galaxy.
So we gotta take care of all the rebels here. Exterminatus is not an option. This is our planet. So no wisecracks.
Incredible. Your heart, esteemed Magos, shines with a kaleidoscope of colors, albeit one made of metal.
Only laypersons believe feelings to be the preserve of flawed flesh. We know the higher passions granted by the Omnissiah, the aversion to tech corruption, the blessing of compliance with the canon of maintenance, and the satisfaction of effective devotional service.
Yeah, what he said. Hey, let's welcome back. Uh-oh. Look, we can get down to the water this way. Could we perhaps take a brief detour for a closer look? Maybe. Fountain's an expensive toy for the nobility. Pure water is currently bubbling from it, but additional pipes on it indicate presence of separate siphons for sparkling wine and other beverages. Nice. Forgive me for so boldly stealing you away from the others. It's just, I simply wish to spend just a brief moment admiring the breathtaking nature of this place. Reflected in Cassia's eyes, a bright blue sky looks as though it is engulfed in a blazing sunset. Within the station's walls, I could never hope to see anything like this. A sky or a sea or green leaves. I only knew them from meager memories of my childhood, or perhaps my mind simply made those up. Even my books, my heart and mind's blissful escape could do little to help me. When a scribe grows so used to what surrounds them each and every day, they begin to take it for granted, and they never think to write just a few lines about it. But for me, to marvel at the grand canopy of the sky again is a true blessing. Pick a nearby flower and give it to her. Here's your chance to take a small piece of this place with you. Ah, look, she's happy, maybe. She gingerly accepts the flower from your hands. Its petals are like velvet, and the fragrance is both sweet and spicy. Fascinating specimen of the local plant life, and I do not remember seeing it in the great concordance of flora and verdure within the Coronis expanse, recorded by Magos, whatever. She stops herself sheepishly. Although I suppose I simply ought to thank you for it. This flower is very beautiful indeed. silently taking the view. In that case, I imagine you have never set foot in sea waters before. Would you like to try? Step into the sea? Me? She glances uncertainly at the playful foam licking at the sandy shore. There's nothing to fear. We shall just let our feet soak a little. She cocks her head to one side. Mischievous dashes of yellow and lilac are fluttering in the wind like bands all around you. I've never seen you exude such colors before. How unexpected. She gives a quick nod and warily stretches out her long, narrow hand. It is cold to the touch. And here come the crocodiles. They are so going to regret walking into the water without taking their shoes off first. Just saying. See, it's so wet and cold, and the tiny pebbles tickle my feet. Her reserved seriousness gives way to genuine wonder. I never thought it would be so agreeable, and a little startling. Thank you for encouraging me. She catches herself, her expression changing in a flash. She gently frees her hand and awkwardly looks away. Take in the view. She relishes every breath of fresh air, her eyes half closed, listening to the sounds of birds hidden from view by the treetops. When the tips of your fingers touch lightly, she starts, but she does not remove her hand. Several minutes pass in timid silence, like mere moments, and eventually she pulls away. This place eases the soul. Would you agree? Wouldn't you agree? This time we're on our way. Already? Yes, of course, she gives as your expanse of the sea a parting glance and whispers quietly, I think I know what my next painting will be. Crocodiles? Oh, servant of the Imperium of the man. What? Why is this thing following me around?
My website reveals something.
This thing hasn't been with us the whole time, has it? I don't remember it following us around before. Trade, if it's successful in trade, and maybe it's just this area it's supposed to be. Oh, something down on the beach we missed. In the water, even, it looks like. Chardas pendant. +5 fellowship and +10 commerce. If the wearer has dogmatic adherent or above, their lore imperium will depend on fellowship instead of intelligence. It also gains +10 lore imperium. Sure. Their lore imperium will depend on fellowship instead of intelligence. It's only a 10-point difference, no big deal. Lore imperium's up to 80, though. Fail this one. Chains or ropes with shackles on the end can be seen in the water. Oh, nice. Chains or ropes with shackles on the end can be seen in the water. So, who have they been drowning in there? Why would they do it here? Right?
The world will bow.
This person. So, Tilius Quint. The student man wearing a cloak of the Adeptus Administratum is reviewing information on a data slate while his quietly whirring mechanical arms fill a long scroll with writing. Upon not noticing you, the man stretches his thin lips into a smile and deferentially bows. The light in the eyes of the servo's skull, hanging over his right shoulder, gently pulsate. Lordship, what an honor it is to address you in person. Allow me to introduce myself, Attilius Quint, perfectionist of the agricultural people. I will preserve the record of our conversation forever. And should they be polluting the sea in that way? I know. What record of our conversation? Lordship, I painstakingly record every conversation with high-ranking personages, and afterwards I fill out all 7 accompanying forms personally. He rolls up his completed scroll and a practiced gesture, stows it away, and pulls out a new one. Your words and judgments are in good hands. His mechanical fingers fly over the scroll as he fills in another line. And of course, what great fortune it is to see, for the very first time in all my years of service, an emissary of the Navis Nobilite here on Yanis. I humbly welcome the esteemed Cassia, blah blah blah, Lady Navigator of House Orcelio. Everything from her condescending gaze and confident bearing to her calm but commanding voice marks Cassia as the heiress of a great bloodline. Awestruck, the secretary writes down each letter of her name with particular fastidiousness. Laudable foresight. A strange hobby, but you may continue. Stop recording immediately. Laudable foresight. I thank you. Moments such as the appearance of a rogue trader must be preserved for posterity. What do you think of Estenza Viat? The governor is a superb leader. She possesses an excellent grasp of all matters and never uses an incorrect form for a given situation. I do not pry into her personal affairs, but if I may speak plainly, a lady who fills out paperwork with such finesse cannot be a bad person in my view. What do you have to say about the governor's helper, Urieliette? To be honest, your lordship, I find her presence most distressing. Of course, I would never gainsay the wisdom of the governor, who, if not she, could perceive the true worth of a person, even if that person is a mutant. Moreover, Urieliette's particular abilities could be an interesting subject of study for the Magos biologist. That elongated head shape, those eyes, judging by the skull that was given to me to send on to footfall, such developmental anomalies of Yanis are not a quirk of nature, but some kind of inheritable trait. What skull are you talking about? A most remarkable item, I must say, a true anomaly in one moment. After rummaging in a nearby container, he draws out a parcel, which he immediately unwraps. Here it is. I believe the finished piece was intended to be given as a gift to the governor, but under the current circumstances, I doubt I will be able to send it to footfall anytime soon. Pascal's mechadendrites reach toward Attilius with interest, seeming to unnerve him a little. Adequately preserved, it is a pity that it is empty inside. It would have become a proper servo skull herald for the rogue trader. Unorthodox. Like this could be... this would look very nice on my desk. Yeah, I mean, yes, of course, undoubtedly, whatever you wish. Your lordship, it will, if that will raise your spirits after the recent incident. Strange skull. Let's do this first. Uh-oh. So, Bada, thank you very much for the resub for, let's see, that's Prime Gaming sub for 60 months. 60 months of Prime Gaming. Thank you very much for the continued support. Happy Thursday. And here are your rockets of recognition. Only 6 of them. Keep in mind that each rolling rocket represents 10 regular rockets of recognition. Why? Because chat has a character limitation, and each one of those emotes eats up so many characters, so that's what we do. Anyway, so there's 60. Or at least equal to 60. Thanks again, Bada. And, of course, thank you, everybody, for watching. Happy Thursday. Getting ahead, yes. Getting ahead from my desk. I mean, yes, of course, undoubtedly. Whatever you wish, your lordship. Blah, blah, blah. What are your duties here? By the grace of the God Emperor, I oversee the administrative apparatus of the planet and serve as secretary. I'm also responsible for the logistics related to supplying the planets of the Von V dynasty and the timely payment of tithes to Imperium official collectors. Speaking of the Von V dynasty, when were the last shipments sent? Oh, your lordship, our supply shipments are all in order. All foodstuffs and other items are ready for export and are simply awaiting the arrival of the transport ships. However, given the current circumstances on the planet, ENS could not provide even one tranche more than what is already prepared. I am certain the situation will be rectified in the near future. Just realized your speakers weren't on. So you missed everything I said. When did the collector ships last come to Yanis? Oh, your lordship, I must confess that as yet I have not had the pleasure of filling out the sacred tithe protocol form, as the last imperial ships to come here did so under my predecessor. Come to think of it, that would have been several decades ago. I do hope the logisticians responsible for such an unforgivable oversight lose their heads over this. That's okay, it's bad. It's been recorded. As you wish. Tell me about Yanis. What is happening on the planet? Stuff. We know this. The absence of a required signature is, of course, the most horrifying thing about this situation. Indeed it is. Financial reports, logistical tech directives, blah blah stuff. And battles up to a 65. A streak of 65 streams watched. It's getting weird. It's getting very creepy. "65 consecutive streams for Bata," which is the longest streak I know of, by the way. I think Rose is up to 55, but as far as streaks go, I think you have the longest. Because I don't know of anybody else that's close to that. Well, Rose, but close to her, I don't know. I don't think anybody else is that far in either. I want to know details. Where have the rebels struck and how? Of course, I would be delighted to furnish you with all the information I have. In the last few months, 15 organized attacks and 7 terrorist attacks have been perpetrated. Irrigation equipment has been sabotaged in agrarian sectors 3 to 5, transport routes 2, 7, 4, 13, and also. I suppose this will not tell you much. Please, with a fussy gesture, he presses several buttons on his data slate screen and a 3-dimensional map with coordinates of the attacks appears on your cogitator. Hey, look. Logic test succeeded. The data is superbly collated, and the map clearly displays the actions of the rebels. At first glance, there seems to be no logic to their campaign, but after analyzing the data and the features of the terrain, you notice a clearer system indicating a geological pattern to their attacks. Who's directing the rebels? Does anyone know? The rebels are well armed and are well trained. What's more, the governor's advisors are inclined to think that the instigators of the rebellions are very familiar with the planet's terrain and climate. My ordnance are going through registration records day and night looking for individuals who have completed military training, but we have so far been unable to identify the scoundrel. What are you doing to combat the rebels? Our security services are tracking those who support the rebels, and our regular wardens are wiping out the saboteurs without the slightest mercy. But they keep on appearing. My scribes have been run off their feet, keeping records of all the public hearings and executions, but I am confident that the governor will find a solution soon. That's enough. Of course, your lordship. What do you know about the attack on the estate? A disgraceful incident, simply disgraceful. I cannot believe these scoundrels would dare to come so close and to drag the nobility into this as well. If they penetrated the estate, that means they had help from some worthless servant or other. Security is currently questioning the survivors, but the culprit has not been found yet. He smiles unpleasantly. I must take my leave. blah blah. Okay, so hopefully we know where to go for the rebels based on the data he provided for us. But we're not done looking around yet. I think we're making it through there. Jupiter Spire hastily turned into a watchtower is a sure sign of a turbulent situation on the Agri world. Of course it is. Now this is where the fight took place. Bodies. Dried berries, really? Now they're not going to let us through? Fine. Deceased arms and face are covered in small boils that ooze cloudy pus even after death. Great. Speaking of grenades. Keep has a grenade. You have grenades. So force grenade. Blind grenade. Grenade. Well, fire grenades too.
That is foolishness.
So there should be something right around here that I'm not seeing. Adira? What's Adira doing here again? She didn't even come to this planet. Why would she be there? Adira's not here. Crazy people. Turn to the void ship. Crazy kooky people. Sealed containers marked with the familiar insignia of the Mediterranean, blah blah blah, and additional seals of a forge world unknown to you. The crates contain high-grade weapons, they likely made to order. That should be stuff for us to take. So autoguns, a hot shot las gun, and keys. So the las gun, that thing. So Gimpy's gun is better. He is using rifle 2. She's got bolter stuff. He's using a plasma. Using a pistol. Yeah, let her carry that one around for a little bit. Very appropriate for her. Not that she'll ever use it, but it's there.
Let's see.
Master faster, the sooner we smoke out this louse, the sooner we can report that the clearance operation is complete. Don't step on a zombie cat, as you'll get puss on boots. Puss on boots, yes, puss. Security officer, a hulking man dressed in a uniform, marking him as an officer of the gubernatorial. The warden's is gubernatorial. I can't speak. Is closely monitoring his subordinates as they surround the building. Sensing your approach, he whips around, his face growing pale, and he offers a low bow. Your lordship, please do not stray too close to the building. One of the terrorists from today's attack has holed himself up in there. He could be dangerous. What's going on? Ready to report, your lordship. We conducted a sweep of the area after the attack. All the assassins were arrested or neutralized except for one. He scowls darkly. He sealed himself inside. He's already injured two wardens who tried to reach him, but there's no need to worry. We'll poison him and clear the last dregs of dirt from the estate. Abelard. I have only one question, officer. Why have you not already done it? The rogue trader is here, and the longer you delay, the more you put his life needlessly at risk. The officer flinches slightly at Abelard's snarl. It is inexcusable, your lordship. The barrels of poison were only just delivered, but we're ready to begin now. You're going to poison him? Who is he? His Balfour. To tell the truth, your lordship, I'm more concerned with clearing the area right now than his identity. We're not expecting to get any valuable intel from him, unless we find something on his corpse that after we've done our job. What's so special about this building? It's one of the utility buildings. Fortunately, it was empty at the time of the attack. There were no potential hostages or innocent people inside. If you ask me, I think this was the first place the killer came to when he was beating his retreat. Now, we managed to round up all the others, but this one holed himself up in there. Pascal, this is not an empty utility building, but an inactive backup crypt for storing refrigerant and freezing equipment. This is obvious. Your ignorance is depressing, servant. Sorry. Going to poison him? He nods. We're using insecticide from our stockpiles, your lordship. We don't have any military-grade poisons, but we don't need them, not for this parasite. I want to talk to the person inside. Are you sure? It's not exactly safe, your lordship. The officer's eyes involuntarily sweep over you, sizing you up. All right, fine. I'll look around after you finished up. You dare to question me? Out of my way. I have to solve this problem without too much blood or fuss. Out of my way. Officer seems to remember himself and offers another low bow. Forgive me, your lordship. Act as you see fit. At the officer's signal, the other wardens take a deferential step back, clearing your path to the door. AKA, get out of my way, peasants. I got stuff to do. When you approach the solid-looking door, a high, boyish voice shouts out, "Piss off, you won't take me alive. Better put a bullet in my brain than let the governor's dogs get their hands on me. I am Gimpy Rogue Trader and sovereign of this planet. In the name of the Emperor, open this door." Ouch, that's not going to work. He needs to work on his coercion there a little bit. Examine the door. Break down the door. Pick the lock. The lock. Succeeded. It takes you half a minute to figure out the archaic mechanism. With a soft click, the door opens, allowing you to enter. We don't need your permission to come in. Inside is poorly lit, but you spot a person standing in the far corner. He is desperately gripping a discharged las gun in his hands. At the sight of you, his eyes widen recognition and fear. It can't be. The Rogue Trader. Young man, practically a boy, falls to his knees and stretches out his bloody hands towards you. His clothes are burned on the side and grimy with baked-in blood. Your lordship, have mercy. You are the sovereign of this planet. Only you have the power to save us. Youth is a time of recklessness. I heard that said more than once in the Schola Progenium and during my Naviate. But youth is also a time of directness. Let us listen to this young man before we judge him. Why should I listen to a filthy insurgent? Save you from what? From Governor Wyatt. Everybody here knows that she's doing what she's doing to us. We put up with it for a long time, hoping that somebody would intervene and help us, but nobody ever did. She's turned the whole world into a slaughterhouse. People are rounded up like groks from the settlement, supposedly to go to the palace, and they're never seen again. Her servants pour something over the fields, and then people lose their minds. They start hearing voices and seeing evil spirits, and while we're dying, she's sitting behind her white walls and feasting on our bones. Cassia, I was taught that peasants have a tendency to exaggerate their suffering due to sloth and weakness of spirit, but this young man, vermilion thorns pierce every centimeter of his body, and gray shackles bind his hands, feet, and neck. There are no lies in his words, only terror and desperation without end. Telling me people are seeing evil spirits. Yes, others are going feral and attacking their loved ones. And then there's, the boy lowers his voice, people say that in some settlements, well, they've stopped upholding the law altogether, imperial law and the law of basic human decency. People are turning into animals. Who's behind the rebels? He swallows nervously and looks at you with fear. Your lordship, I beg you, don't ask me that. I can't sell out my brethren. It's over for me, but the others, I won't betray them. There'll be no end to the war on this planet until I get a handle of the situation, but to do that I need to meet with your leader. Tell me or I'll tear this world apart. People waiting outside will put you through far worse treatment than I will. Goodbye. Oh, jeez. Okay, so no end of war. And succeeded. The boy hesitates a few seconds, and then his head drops limply. As long as you keep your word. I've never been in their camp. None of us have. Only the chief saw one person from their base. He came a few times, bringing weapons and orders. He said he represented a greater force than we could imagine, and he said that the governor's dogs will pay for the reprisals in the settlements, but that's not where they're hidden. They keep their distance from ordinary folks. We have it all worked out so that if anyone gets caught, the others aren't caught with them. But I swiped the chief's fox. I thought after I killed the governor, I could use the message coordinates to find the base and hide out there. The boy retrieves a fox from his pockets and holds it out to you with a shaking hand. That's everything I know, your lordship. Get up and come with me. I give you my word as rogue trader, you will live. Give him an easy death. The people waiting outside will put you for... Wow. You will live. Gotta be a good guy sort of kind of here. Rebel looks at you in bewilderment and then bows low before you. When he speaks, his voice trembles. Your lordship, thank you. Thank you for this kindness. I never thought I'd survive this. Security officer of the wardens casts a disdainful look over the rebel before turning his gaze on you. Your lordship, I honor your bravery. Please allow me to get rid of this rat for you. The man is now under my protection. See to it that he is held safely in custody and his fate is decided by a fair trial. To the perimeter of the state, he is free to go. Soon as consult your advisors and see to it that this rebel is made into a useful servitor. God. Make an example of this scum. Publicly flay. Oh, God. Warhammer. Under my protection, see to it that he is held safely in custody, and I gave him my word, so... A dumbfounded expression appears on the officer's face. With the deepest respect, your lordship, the officer thinks before his next words and abruptly bows. It will be done. Thank you, lordship, without blah, blah, blah. Okay, so how are we doing in the alignment thing these days? Dogmatics 20, 73 of 200 on level 2. Got a long way to go. Iconoclast, we're at the level 1. of the Thundering Guns. 2 random allies start combat with temporary wounds equal to their own resolve. Works for me. I'm gonna get over here. Absolution. Grim Determination. A traitor and their allies gain a plus 10% chance to survive with 1 wound instead of falling unconscious. Absolution. In the first round of combat, all critical hits scored by the rogue trader's party inflict burning. Yeah, we've seen that in action. All fire damage suffered by enemies is increased by +1 for each conviction at dogmatic rank, which is 2. Must burn more. Look at the stuff in this room. Terribly useful. Disinfection device and keys. This device grants a wearer plus 15 bonus to carouse. That would be you, I think. His carouse is currently at 80. Reduces wound health by 10% and increases critical hand chance by that. So actually I'll give you that one. She doesn't have anything yet, so... more crits for her, hopefully. Although, her toughness bonus is crappy. It's 3, so that would be 9%. $35. He's at 35. He's at 60. What's his other thing? The knuckles. Plus 5 bonus weapon skill. It also grants any equipped melee weapons a plus 5% armor penetration and 2 damage, so that's good for him. Guess we'll give it to her. Nobody really has good toughness except for, what's his face? Gimpy is. Oh, Gimpy's got 45 toughness. Awareness. Commerce.
Hello Gimpy, it is time to take a break.
Maybe.
Go get some more water while you are up. Your next break is in 1 hour.
So this gives Gimpy, his toughness at 45 is plus 4, so it's 12%. To crits, that's not too bad. And then the awareness. He's got good awareness. Awareness is 50, 40, 85. I'll give it to her so that she can have the highest awareness at 195. Oh, we took those off him, actually. Oh, well. Okay. Okay, so I need to take a break. Get up, stretch my legs, go see what the dogs are up to. Last time I saw them, they were sleeping pretty good. So,
the world trembles.
I'll verify they're still sleeping. Anyway, gonna get up, stretch my legs, get some water, that kind of thing. If you've been watching the stream for any length of time, I suggest you do the same. I'll be back in a few minutes. Enjoy the dog video. Thanks for watching.